It's 6 o'clock. I'll call this board meeting to order on August 18th, 2025, with all board members present except for Nick Brown. Is anyone in open forum? Public comments? Okay, great. So that will bring us to agenda item number 3, which is the review and discussion of the Clifton ISD Internet Safety Policy as required by policy CQ Legal.
This is the one we have to review annually. There's no changes to it, and it's due to our E-rate. The money that we get from E-rate is based on this annual review of the policy. And Ms. Ernst we talked about it today, and there's a potential of getting through E-rate $187,000. Now, we'll get 80% of that, whatever we buy. They would cover 20% of it, and we're looking at applying to upgrade the wireless access points.
Actually, we pay 20, they pay 80. So
Correct, we pay 20, they pay 80, I said that
Okay.
wrong. We pay 20, they pay 80.
Thank you. And what did you,
That's better.
what are you planning to get again?
Wireless access points,
Okay.
applying for that, so.
Okay.
So we use all the money for that. They had to put 20% down, right? Perfect.
There's actually 2 different categories. Category 1 is internet service, and they fund that for everyone who applies and qualifies. And so we've received $24,000 worth of internet funding. And then category 2, you have to jump through some hoops. Basically, it's not guaranteed, but it's funded based on your student enrollment. And they increased that amount, I want to say it was $167.
To 201.
201.
Yes, correct.
So they did increase that. And you have that one set amount over a period of 5 years. So if you spend part of it in year 1, you can continue to spend the rest of it over the next 4 years. So every 5 years it resets.
Okay. Is that state or federal?
Federal.
What'd you say, resets every 5?
Yes, it's a 5-year cycle.
Do you have any more questions? If not, have we had time to review? Did we go to number 4? That's it.
Yes.
Okay, so then we'll go to agenda item number 4, and we will take the consideration of the Clifton ISD Internet Safety Policy as required by policy CQ Local. If we don't have any more questions, I'm looking for a motion to approve the policy CQ Local.
I make a motion to approve the Clifton ISD Internet Safety Policy, CQ Local.
I have a motion by Mr. Ritzman. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Domal. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Woolman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Domal. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 6:03. At 6:00, bless you. At 6:04, I will call the regular Clifton Independent School District meeting to order on August 18th, 2025, with all board members present except for Nick Brown. And if you would please rise for the pledges, please.
I pledge
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. Public comment? Great, consent agenda. We will review look over the minutes from July 21st meeting and the minutes from the August 4th budget workshop. Are there any comments or questions regarding the consent agenda? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
I make the motion that we approve the minutes as presented.
I have a motion by Ms. Willman. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Montez. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries. Number 5, discussion and consideration of the 25-26 Texas, teacher evaluation and support system, also known as the T-test appraisal calendar. Anything? Any questions for Ms. Jones regarding the T-test? Does everyone use this program across the state, or can you choose your own?
You can choose a local designated system. The T-test survey as of this morning through the state only shows one school in our region that uses a local system,
In Region 12, they
Yes,
use
ma'am.
the local system.
that have completed the survey as of this morning.
Today, sure. If there are no questions, we need a motion to approve this calendar.
So,
Have a motion by Mr. Montez, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Ritzman. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries. Number 6, discussion and consideration of the continuation of the interlocal agreement with the City of Clifton for security services at home varsity football and basketball games.
I have not received that agreement yet.
Okay, so we're awaiting that agreement from the city.
Correct.
And we will get back to that in September. Great. Thank you.
Well, there's gonna be games in between now and September, so will the one that we agreed on last year carry through?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Oh yeah, football is through September.
Well, we got volleyball tomorrow, so.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering, volleyball. Okay. Great. We will wait that for September. Item number 7. Discussion and consideration to approve an agreement for the purchase of attendance credit and delegate contractual authority to the superintendent.
This we've done the last 2 August meetings. We've received this same, as almost all schools have probably, that we could recapture. We have not recapture in the past, but they have to send this out, and we cannot adopt our tax rate until this decision is made. And historically, I put in there, if you could read it, historically, districts choose option 3. And that's what we've done in the past. We just haven't had to do anything past this.
So we're staying with option 3.
Correct. And there is wording in that document that I posted in red that has to be the board minute language for the
Motion.
motion, correct.
Alright. Do we have any questions regarding the attendance purchase credits? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
Read the whole thing. I make the motion for the 2025-2026 school year. We delegated contractual authority to obligate the school district under Texas Education Code 11-1511C4 to the superintendent solely for the purpose of obligating the district under the Texas Education Code 48.257 and Texas Education Code Chapter 49, subchapters A and D, and the rules adopted by the Commissioner of Education as authorized under the Texas Education Code 49.006. This included approval of the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit, the agreement for the purchase of attendance credit netting Chapter 48 funding, or the agreement for purchase of the attendance credit and netting Chapter 48 funding.
I have a motion by Mr. Ritzman. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Ms. Woolman. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you. We'll get that signed and submitted to TEA.
Number 8, discussion and consideration of EFB local in accordance with SB Senate Bill 13 regarding the district's libraries, and library materials.
So if y'all have had a chance to read this, there's a lot in this. It doesn't only have to do with the possibility of adopting a SLAC committee. There's a lot of other things in there which I will talk about as well. Your only responsibility under this is to adopt a policy to create a SLAC committee, which is kind of like our SHAC committee, but it's for libraries, or and you would have to do that if we had 50 parents or 10% of ours 10% of our parents that would petition that we have a SLAC committee. The second option, you can read in there, the second option is for y'all as the board to approve the list. Now what I mean by approve the list, anything that would be donated to us, library materials, library books, whatever it may be, or books that Mr. Perez and Ms. Pierce would like to purchase and put in either one of our libraries or both of our libraries, that list would have to be publicly available for viewing for 30 days. That list would go to y'all. You would review that and you would approve it before we could ever buy any of those materials or accept any donations. That's the difference. We can either do, the one local policy is creating the SLAC committee, which would meet twice a year. And really, if you read in there, we talked about it. That's not the option that I would recommend. I would recommend that y'all would do that, not create a separate committee that would have to meet, review all the books. But you could do that. Both of those options are in there. We would recommend that you not do the SLAC committee, but do the board approval of any of the library materials. Now, we did find out too when I talked to our attorney the other day, because I was asking her about something I'll tell you about in a minute that's a part of this law. She said there is the option, if the board doesn't want to do that, there is the option to use the DOI to opt out of the board having to approve that, and it falls back to the librarians, which they create everything. And Mr. Perez has it set to where y'all will get a review of each of those books or whatever the materials that they're gonna put up to buy or to purchase or for the donations if we had any of those. Now the second part of this, another part is maybe not the second part, but another part of this is anytime that a child, that my child, any of y'all's kids want to check out a book, the law says you have to be notified. Now when you read the Texas Library Association, which is not in charge of schools, but the Texas Library Association interprets that as through our library management system, they can create a log. There'll be a log of every book Ruthie or Luke checked out, or a history in there. And as a parent, I could go in there and read that log or that history. We interpret the law through the school district part of it. And this is why I'd asked this of our attorney, that notification is every time Ruthie or Luke checks out a book, I get a notification. Now, we talk about that here because there will be, I'm sure there will be some pushback on that because parents or guardians may get tired of getting those notifications. But that's part of the law is I don't know if there's an opt-out out of that. Mr. Perez already has all this set up. And so when this starts after September 1st, someone checks out a book, you'll get a notification. It'll be the author, the genre, the title of the book, the things that are listed in there. So, and we'll send this information out as well. So if a parent's not watching tonight or doesn't know, when they get the first notification, they'll understand why they're getting those notifications. So, and Mr. Perez he's been working on this since the summer, since we knew Senate Bill 13 was passed.
Do you have any questions or comments on which route?
Mr. Perez and Ms. Pierce, are they in favor of the procedure that you recommend as far as us approving? Or
Yes.
would they prefer the SLAC?
No, they would prefer not to do the SLAC.
Any other thoughts or comments on it?
And if you decide to do the SLAC, you would need to adopt the resolution first. But if you decide not to do the SLAC, you're just going to do EFB local.
EFB local.
Yes, not EFB local SLAC.
Okay.
And there'll be,
Anybody
there
else have
there
any?
are numerous other laws that have passed that will be in our next TASB update. This one need to be done by, normally we put them on there, talk about it for a month. This one and the one we did last month, we didn't have time to do that.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
So,
over.
but when the next update comes out with a lot of the new laws, then we'll have a chance to do that.
And this is just for new books that the library is requiring?
Correct, anything that's currently in there
Is
is grandfathered in.
Is
Yes.
grandfathered in.
And
That's correct.
these would be books that our librarians are picking for us to look at, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yes, they are books and materials that
Well, they've
they
already
would,
been
they would recommend,
seeing how
correct,
they want, what they want.
correct. They would recommend them to the board to review.
And we're unsure if parents can opt out of being notified every time a child checks out a library book.
That's correct, I don't know about that. And then that list will be online for parents to, it has to be on there for 30 days before.
We created a web page the other day that's called School Libraries, and there's already a hyperlink of it. So no matter what, for September meeting or whichever way you guys select, we already have a publicly available list of what they want. So like a book that comes out in October is already gonna be on that list, so that the day it comes out, we can add that to our catalog. And then we've also advised teachers for classroom libraries that they need to check our catalog first, and they'll go through the same process as well.
Where is that link?
Under Clifton ISD Curriculum and Instruction, at the very bottom, it says School Library. And then every campus has it, middle school, elementary school have it hyperlinked under the parent information page as well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Do we have any other questions or comments? If not, we're looking for a motion so the library can continue on by September 1. So they can carry on.
I make the motion that we adopt the local procedure that the librarians bring the requested books to the board for approval.
I have a motion by Mr. Ritzman. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Conrad. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 9, discussion and consideration to set a dollar rate for the payment of accumulated leave upon separation in board policy DEC local.
So we talked, Ms. Presser and I talked about this the other day. There's not you may want to explain this a little better than I do. Down at the bottom of that, it's page 5 of that, where it talks about payment for accumulated leave upon separation. There's no dollar amount in there. It talks about the employee shall receive payment for each day of accumulated state leave to a maximum of 50 days at a rate established by the board. Well, we've had that in the policy, but we've never established a rate. And that's in our employee handbook too. It links back to this, but there's no rate that's been established.
So do y'all have a recommended rate for us?
We do.
$50 a day.
Okay.
And that wouldn't change anything else in the policy other than the rate established by the board would be $50.
So this is this like sick leave?
No, it's accumulated state days. Every year, a teacher or staff get 5 state days and 5 local days. And they're allowed to carry them over state days year to year and also transfer from districts and so forth. So we have at least 21 people that have over the 50 days accumulated. So upon retirement or termination, or they're leaving the district and they're no longer going to teach, they can cash those days in.
But these are days that they would use like for sick or
Yes.
What do they use? The state days different?
Any personal leave they want, sick or vacation or anything.
If you said, can teachers bring them from another district to us?
Yes.
Yeah, state days carry over district to district.
So if they have 30 days and come here, we're paying for those 30 days?
Well, you have to have 50 days in the bank to qualify.
To qualify?
Yeah.
And how many did you say we have? 21?
We have at least
Qualify.
21 people that have over the 50.
Wait, could you repeat that? You have to have 50 days to qualify for?
For this payment. So you have to have 50 days in the bank, and we'll pay you for up to 50 days.
When you retire.
When you
Okay, so
retire,
it is
so
50
forth.
days. Okay, got
Yes.
it. Yep, I didn't see that
Now,
sentence.
if, someone is non-renewed or something that doesn't, you can see under number 1 what the separation from employment is voluntary.
So if you retire with 49 days, you don't get anything.
No,
But with 50, you get 50 times $50.
yes.
Lisa, is that state money coming to us then, or we come out of our local budget?
It'd come out of our local budget.
Even the people that transferred in and they bring them with them?
Yes.
So it's a liability to the district that we can't really budget for.
No.
She says no.
I'm assuming most of those are
Yeah,
part-time
I mean,
teachers.
it's like Tiffany said, it's cheaper than somebody taking 80 days of the last half of their contract and we
Oh,
pay
yeah.
a substitute to come in.
True.
Yes.
True. $2,500 to one person is, and instead of paying somebody to work out the remainder of their year.
So they could retire in, if they had 80 days, like what you're
Correct.
saying is they could retire, and it's cheaper for us to give them the 50 than pay them a sum
Right.
for the rest of the year.
Right.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
We love teachers being here.
Yeah. And they get, just refresh my brain. So I don't know what our district policy is, but every teacher gets 5 state days. And it's up to the district. They could get possibly 3, 5, like what? is that?
Local days,
right?
correct.
But it's not set at 5.
Correct.
For all districts.
Five is what the state does.
Right, and
We choose
districts,
local amount.
you choose
Yes.
your local
Yes.
amount.
Yes, and ours have been 5 for probably
Last-
about 4 or 5 years
Yeah.
or so.
So do they, when they take those days, do they have to pick state or local? And so do they get some discretion to choose which one they want to use, or does y'all tell them?
It's whatever we do in our policy, we have where you can only carry over 14 days of local. So it's recommended use the,
Sure.
if you're towards that max, use the local first.
That makes sense, okay.
And you're really better off using the local first if you ever think you're gonna go somewhere else,
Well, for sure,
because your days go with you.
for sure. I just didn't know if they had that discretion to choose that.
Yes.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
What did we do before we made this change?
Nobody has really asked to be compensated for their, since I've been here.
No?
I don't know if we've had anybody leave with 50 days or more.
No, not really. I think 1 or 2 teachers have, but just out of illness and then retirement, we just granted them all days paid off, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
instead of writing a check.
No. Okay.
Good questions. Are there any other questions? If not, do we have, I'm looking for a motion to lead Lisa in the right direction.
I make the motion that we set the dollar rate at $50 for the payment of accumulated leave upon separation in board policy DEC local.
I have a motion by Ms. Willman. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Domel. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 10, review of board meeting dates for 25-26 school year.
In there, you'll see the dates that Ms. Vanderfer has put. And so you don't have to, in the past, we've adopted these, but if you do that, then we have to come back and make a change. At this point, if you just review them, like we do with handbooks, a change can be made without the board having to make a decision. The January 12th or the 19th is our day out of school. That's our holiday. And so we either move it to the week before. The 26th is actually, we didn't do it this past year because of midwinter. So I'll be gone to the superintendent's conference possibly. But the 19th is the regular meeting. That's our holiday. So whichever, I mean, you can wait until, like Ms. New said earlier, you get closer to that to decide. The February 23rd, she's already moved that. The 16th is President's Day. March 23rd, the spring break is the week of the 9th, so we wouldn't have the meeting on the 16th because nobody would be here to get all their stuff in the previous week. And really with the new law, agendas are gonna have to be posted the previous Tuesday now instead of the previous Friday. So, but that was the only question that Ms. Vandiver and I had was on the January date.
I'm happy to pick it now, but I feel like it's one of those things we're probably all best when we look at crazy calendars to just leave it as is and pencil it in your head.
And we did not have, this past January, if you remember, we did not have 2 meetings.
That's right.
We had 1 meeting that had to do with superintendents. The year before, we had 2 meetings. The January before, this past January of 25, we did not.
My concern with January 12th is we have to have it posted by Tuesday. That's a day before, or the day the kids come back from break,
Correct.
Christmas break.
Maybe we mentally need to mark the 19th.
But I hate to do that, but I like having agenda items and all the materials would
Yeah.
probably be a strain. for the
For,
12th?
for our purposes, the 19th really works better.
Okay.
Just
Yeah.
set it for that.
Pencil in the 19th.
We're just off that one day, right?
Yes.
We're off the following Monday? Not a 4-day weekend, is it?
Friday, right? Because 19th is going to be a Monday.
Oh,
Correct.
It's just that
So it'd
Monday.
be that one. Ahead.
I was thinking Friday.
You don't get to travel.
And then we will put these on our board website. We'll go with the 19th, put it
Yeah.
on the board website.
And if something comes up, we have the ability to change it, but
Plenty of time.
let's set for the 19th. Great. Great feedback. Anything else? If not, number 11, we are ready for review of the annual SHAC report.
Mr. Jackson?
Refresh us, just for the TV, what SHAC stands for, please.
So SHAC stands for School Health Advisory Council,
Thank you.
and so they meet, and they're basically just a council of participants, just various stakeholders, and can make recommendations and just to the board or to the school as far as any kind of school health related activities or things. So this is an update from this past school year, and so the members are the ones on the front there that you see in your report. And we had 2 meeting dates this past year. Through DOI last year, we changed to 2 meetings a year instead of the 4. But this year it's going to go back to 4 because legislative update did away with being able to DOI to reduce the number of SHAC meetings per year. So we're going to go back to 4, and that'll be on our agenda for the September 8th SHAC meeting that's coming up.
September 8th.
Just kind of going through some of the key points from last year. We just had our first meeting on last September was mainly a lot of the mental health activities that we had scheduled throughout the year, and just kind of with Region 12. If you remember, Region 12 did a presentation for us last year, and they presented to the SHAC meeting. Also did a presentation to the board for the SAFER curriculum, and we used that for the family health and child abuse and relationships curriculum. Also, those things would be that curriculum was age specific for secondary and lower grade levels, so it was age appropriate. And it was also those things are in our student handbook. Those were added in there from the last year. Dr. Brown, also he scheduled topics that he set up through Region 12 as well to the elementary. And basically it was just the requirements for parent consent to go through the different curriculums and through the Region 12. That had to be reviewed by the SHAC, and then it was presented to the board for approval of that curriculum. We also used T-Chat. That was incorporated. That's youth awareness for that was online mental health professionals, and then we also had youth awareness mental health, or also known as YAM, and they came and presented curriculum in our social studies classes. And so that was a big part of the first meeting, and then at that meeting is when the SHAC made the recommendation for the 2 meetings per year, and we made the amendment to our District of Innovation Plan. Of course, that'll go back to 4 this next year. We did training, our teachers did training on ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences, and kind of our through Region 12 helped us with that with some professional development training we had. And so that was very informative, and did basically had all the professionals do their personality traits through a True Colors testing, and so that was interesting to learn. So last year, the nurses, we had to get a doctor's note to administer over-the-counter medications, and that was through the nursing licensing board that parents had to approve for their child to get over-the-counter medication at school. Well, that lasted 1 year. I think that they saw that was,
Yes, that's been
that,
fixed.
so that is
No
actually
longer have
changed
to.
back, and we'll probably just mention that in
Found
our
out
next
last week.
meeting, but I think they realized it was, parents were not thrilled about that, I don't think, because they wanted to have the right, just give consent for that. So we got that clarified. Terry Taylor from the Walk Across Texas through our Bosque County Co-op. She kind of led us through our 8-week program last year, and she's going to work that together, and we'll start that again this fall. And so she's going to get the teams together. And she also shared information last year about the Bosque County Health Fair that was in September, and then we have another one coming up this year that is October 2nd. It's going to be the one this year in Meridian, at the Meridian Civic Center. So that'll be through our Ag Extension Agency. So that was pretty much it for our September meeting. Then we had a fall meeting that kind of summed up the year, the curriculum that we went through throughout the year and the training. And then we had the changes at the high school. We had Miss Brown came to the high school as counselor, Laura Cosper at the middle school, and then Miss Duvall, right? Miss Duvall she is at the elementary now. She came to us from Corsicana. So that was updated in June. And so we have been doing the Character Strong program at the middle school, and that is now expanding to the elementary level this year. And so Dr. Brown has expanded that down there at the elementary campus. Again, I said Walk Across Texas. We're going to be doing that this fall, starting in September, and that'll go through to November 16th. And so we'll get that going. September 22nd is what we're looking at on that. We received an outdoor education grant, and we will, I think the elementary is using that, and they got a lot of materials, equipment for outdoor activities and so forth. And then pretty much that was it. I just mentioned about, we had to do our SHAC report, annual SHAC report, and just some of our announcements. We had Nurse Austin at the elementary. She came on board last year, and so she's recommended as being a new member to our SHAC committee. And she's also going to be our CPR trainer for our district. And Miss Becky was doing that before, so Miss Austin will take that over, and has already been training bus drivers and so forth, people that need the CPR first aid training. And I think Dr. Brown has some things scheduled for which happened for Meet the Teacher Night. He just talked about that. Coach Davis and just dealing with talking about they discussed the PE. Some of you, I think, participated in the elementary PE program. That was discussed. And our NHS and middle school student council helped with field day. That was a big day. They helped with that. Middle school, Mr. Bartlett shared with the SHAC about the Character Strong program, and then just a lot of positive feedback that led to from Ms. Brown gave a lot of positive feedback from that. So, and then in January we had a human trafficking awareness training and program about vaping and tobacco at the middle school. And then the middle school student council raised funds for Family Abuse Center, And also, they received an award from the Texas Association of Student Councils for DASH, which is Drug, Alcohol, Safety, and Health Prevention. Congratulations to them. And then the 7th graders participated in CPR training, and which is required by the time when they're in secondary. That's part of a graduation requirement. And so a lot of good things going on there at the middle school and elementary. And at the high school, we had our third annual mental health and wellness fair. We had 40 vendors that signed up. I think we wound up with 38 vendors showed up that day. But had a really good turnout every year. A lot of compliments from our vendors, just excited. And we actually had 2 different school districts come and join in our program this year. They were able to come. So very excited about that. Again, that's our Hope Squad that we started 3 years ago, kind of heads that up. And Miss Brown and Mr. Perez will be kind of running that for us at the high school this year. Along with that, this is our last year with the contract with the Hope Squad, which is $1,500 a year. Throughout the year, we're looking at potentially, and we'll run this through the SHAC meeting also, but it's kind of creating more localized organization, because we pretty much had the curriculum. They provide the curriculum originally, and basically we're paying the $1,500 to use their name. It's a good program. It didn't really. We thought there was going to be more initial training from professionals coming and helping with our kids, but basically, Mindy Webb and our counselors, our school staff, head that up, and so the curriculum that they use and teach and train is something that we can adapt to something more localized and kind of reduce some costs there potentially. So that's something we're considering. All the high school students completed their CPR and their law enforcement interaction for graduation requirements. And I've already mentioned the upcoming October 2nd Ag Extension Health Fair, the fair for the Rural Health Grant and for the hospital to bring awareness to careers in the health fields. All right. And so just, again, we had the new SHAC member recommendations that were on the very front. Nurse Holly Austin and Coach Kim Davis are recommended for that, and then any others that we have. And we'll be updating the officers and basically the chair and co-chairs this fall as well. And included in that was the guidance counselor, kind of the hierarchy, the tiers where, it's our campus counselor guidance, and then where we kind of work together with the counselor can do more short-term counseling with parent permission. And then at a higher level, tier 3, that's where we get Claris they kind of intervene, take over, and that's more just between them and the family. And we kind of come out of that hierarchy there at tier 3. So that's basically the topics that were covered in SHAC this past school year. Any questions on anything? Yes, sir.
The outdoor equipment, that grant and donation, what's being done with that, or like what was given, what?
It is fishing poles, orienteering materials. They created a Google Classroom and were able to provide our ag teachers, our PE teachers, and then Miss Davis is going to basically train the trainer with the Texas Parks and Wildlife so she can teach all things fishing and things like that. So it's going to be more of interactive outdoors, kind of, we're going to pivot our field trips to work with that kind of stuff for the elementary level.
And it? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Number 12. Review and discussion of the district handbooks. Do you have any questions about the handbooks? It is a lot to read. That is true.
Really, the only one that had changes, the student handbook? Did I miss what
Yes,
the-
no, anything in the employee handbook would have been minimal, and it would have only been a legislative addition.
Yeah, I just saw
Because we
student,
updated that one,
I just saw student handbook.
yes.
Update.
And those two would have been legislative updates too.
For two changes.
I noticed that the GT for middle school still talks about academy science.
It's a fun class.
What, Ms. Swellman, what page is that on?
Um,
Sorry to put you.
It is on page 7 to 8.
7 to 8.
It's at the bottom of page 7.
So if you go to that, we don't do that anymore.
There is no academy, correct, because all the teach changed to where there was no, so they'll need to change that in
We
there.
just need to take that out.
Correct.
Good catch there. Anything else? That anyone happened to see in any of the handbooks? If not, we do not have to approve those, so just, it's your time to make your comments on those.
So Andy, the change with the cell phone law, is it incorporated into one of the handbooks?
Ask them.
Yes.
I don't know what page it's on in there as far as,
So, in the student handbook, the high school handbook, and probably it's gonna be close to the middle school also, it's page 65, 66. You should, did you get the changes sheet in your,
yes, it's in here.
okay. It should be, all that was added by the new law.
On the offenses for cell phone, what day is the punishment carried out? That day is caught?
Well, if it's a morning time deal, but if it happens right at the end of the day and there's really not chance for parents to get in contact and make arrangements, we'll do it the next following day. Like for after school detention,
Right.
it would be, if it's a morning time and there's enough time for parents to make arrangements, whatever, with high school is a little different if they drive, it just
Right.
depends on transportation, I think, middle school.
Yeah, we're cutting ours off at lunch, so if it happens before lunch, we'll try to call parents and set up something for the day.
Yeah.
If after lunch, we'll probably do it the next day.
Okay. I just lost him ahead of time, so I was just wondering if there was a game that day, somebody got caught and like, oh, no, we'll wait and do yours after the game or something, so that's what I was wondering.
You can ask Ms. Anton what she's already told them.
We told them all that, sorry, if you get it, if it's in the morning, then it's going to be that afternoon, if I get hold of your parents and stuff, and we can make it work, you make this your day. That's the same way with after-school teaching on other things, because if not, we can carry it out for weeks, because somebody's always got something.
Yeah, it needs to be cut and dry. So.
And I'll say this, the high school, there's been very few problems at all. Kids they're coming in, doing what they're supposed to do. Teachers are, saying that they haven't had any problems. The biggest thing, there were some, because a lot of adults don't know how to turn their phones off, so sometimes they have trouble turning it off, but that was the first day, but we had a couple that didn't get it turned off correctly, but other than that.
Hey, why don't you tell them about the time?
Oh,
You're gonna have to
yeah,
purchase always.
So we found out what students use their phones for more than anything is tell what time it is, because they're driving them nuts because they didn't know how much time they had to get to class. So I told them at lunch, when we had our meeting, I was like, okay, because the kids were telling the teachers that, and the teachers were relaying that, and they said, the students, all they want is a clock in the hallway. And so I told them we're gonna get a clock, get clocks put in the hallways, and they were all, yeah, yeah. And I said, well, they're gonna be analog clocks. And they're like, no, no.
But I will tell you,
I was like,
Luke
just
was so
kidding.
excited when he came home that day. It was like the second day of school, and he was so excited that Mr. Jackson said they were gonna buy clocks for the hallways.
Yeah.
He didn't know what time it was,
Yeah.
because he doesn't wear a watch.
Yeah.
Great.
So they were asking today about it at lunch, and I said, well, we have to wait till the budget comes out. When we get the new budget, we can get some clocks, but
I've
anyway.
heard good feedback though.
Yeah.
Lots of
Yeah,
people,
it's
if teachers have
been-
seen kids' eyes and lots
They're
of
playing cards at
discussion.
lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, they're playing
conversation.
cards. They're a little
Yeah.
bit louder at lunch than all
That's
that,
okay.
but
We'll
that's
take
okay.
it.
Yeah, that's good for them, but hadn't been near as, wasn't near as much, you know, the kids are really doing well with it, so the students are proud of them.
Good.
So,
Good job,
Can I
kiddos.
ask, how long is after-school detention?
Oh, great question.
well, for us, we go till 4, but I think most, because we're,
We go to 4:30.
yeah, they go to 4:30, but we have places to be. I usually have to go to a game or something a lot of times, so, we're doing that, but anyway. All right.
Do we have any other questions?
You'll also see in there too, Mr. Conrad, and this is for all of y'all, all those highlights where it talks about the cell phone, page 65, 66, possession and use of cell phones or devices, parental consent. And then if you're going down, you'll see an added requirement this year, and I kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. Page 99 in the high school handbook is safe storage of firearms.
Yeah.
And so this is a new state law, and in fact, our dubious reporter over there, Nate, and I talked about this a couple of weeks ago. We already had to have it. The previous legislative session said we had to provide this information on our website, which we did. Well, now, schools are required to send this information out 3 times a year. And so we will be required to send this to all parents or anyone standing in relation as a parent from the school on how to store their firearms safely. So, and I'll put in there that this is a state requirement. This is not a Clifton ISD. We're not telling you how to do this. This is coming from the state that we have to tell you this is what it needs to be done, so.
Oh, so that, I
we're
thought
telling-
that had a relation to the Guardian program, but that's telling, that's
for-
information for parents, hey, at home, this is the law.
Correct.
At home situations.
Interesting.
Doesn't matter if you've had guns your entire life, doesn't matter. The state is requiring schools to do that and send it out, so.
I'm assuming they're giving us something to pass on.
Correct, it's from the DPS.
We're.
There'll be
schools for
resources
education, Not firearm.
for the middleman.
Interesting.
Yep, 3 times a year, so.
All right.
We get a grant for internet to do that.
Okay. Number 13, review and discussion of accountability ratings.
I put that in there for y'all, and I've got, if y'all want these, I've got some handouts you can have, so you don't have to print all these if you want to take them with you, or you can discuss these. And they've got their copies as well if you have questions. This package that I'm going to give you is 23 through 25 for the district and for each one of the campuses. So the first few pages are 2023 district through high school, 2024 district through high school, and 2025 district through high school.
What,
These-
oh, sorry.
These are 2025. We talk about the distinction designations. These are middle school and high school. Middle school and high school, I did not make copies of the elementary for some reason. I have 2 copies. This is 2025. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Because the distinction designations, as you can read in my post there, are based on the group of 40.
The group of the 40 schools, right?
Correct. And all the district, all the campuses are different.
That they picked to compare
They
us to.
picked, correct.
Okay. That's where your distinctions come from, correct?
Correct.
I'm having to think out loud.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Distinctions are based only on that.
I didn't see that. Where does that say that as far as the distinctions to 40?
That's what these are based on. It's based on if you look at the second or third page, it'll show you who we're compared with.
Okay.
Keep flipping through there and I'll give you the 40.
Yep.
There's the
Yep,
40
got it.
schools we're compared with. So if I can ask Ms. Chalmers to make copies of this. I did not copy the elementary, as you'll see. I made 2 copies of the high school for some reason.
Okay.
Sorry, Dr. Brown. I made copies of your distinction designations that you got 4 of.
Does the ISD have one too?
ISD does not.
Okay.
Because the only distinction that the ISD can get is post-secondary readiness.
So these.
And that's based on, solely on post-secondary readiness indicators at each campus. And so if you'll read in there, there were 83 out of the 1,200 districts in the state, there were 83 districts that earned the post-secondary readiness. We were one of those 83. There were only 4 in Region 12. Out of the 86 schools in Region 12, we were one of the 4. So that one's very difficult to get.
Okay.
And at the bottom, and y'all probably didn't have a chance to read this, but I posted our news story today that included all this information on our accountability ratings.
So our high schools and middle schools are not compared to the same schools.
Correct, or elementary.
And they can range from all sizes of schools.
It's basically on the number of students in the school.
So it could be campus, the district, maybe the 6A district.
Yes.
Campus is the same size.
Oh,
Yeah, so when you see the elementary, you'll see the difference in the size of the district as
Okay.
compared to the size of the campus.
okay.
And it's based on a kind of an average on special ed and a kind of an average on eco-dis. So we may be 68% eco-dis. All of that 40 may be 63 to 72%.
Okay,
or-
okay.
That's not our numbers, but that's.
Yeah.
Are they only comparing us to the 40 on academic growth and closing the gaps? Those are the only 2 metrics they're
No,
comparing? us upon?
all of the distinctions are based on that. So when you see, like quartile 2 or quartile 1 or whatever, that's based on that 40.
Okay.
Because, I mean, when you look at them and you track from 23 to 24 to 25, so you just look at raw data, we're staying about the same at the high school level.
Correct.
We've had some movement at elementary and middle school, up and down, either way. So the distinctions are comparing, again, what'd you say, academic growth and closing the gaps?
I was comparing all of these that, like this one is distinction in reading and language arts.
Okay.
This is the elementary. Thank you. So if you'll look on the page, the schools, the campuses the elementary was compared to, it's completely different than what the other campuses were compared to as well.
Sorry.
And these performances are based on a master's level,
So what's
not the meets
what's the
level.
purpose of them comparing us all to these schools?
Just
You said what's the purpose?
Aren't they comparing us
Yeah.
not only size, but
Well, dude, so it's apples to
Economic.
apples, right?
It's not size at all. It's not,
it's
it's
eco-dis and special ed, but it's campus numbers. It's how many
Right,
about
so
are
si-
at that.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Correct, not size of the district, size of the
Yeah.
campus.
Yeah.
campus size,
Yes.
eco, and
Special ed, correct.
And it's just based on masters, you said?
master's grade level. Yep. And so you'll see on here, for this top page in the elementary, attendance rate, and attendance rate is one you always want to get, because if you get that, you're in quartile 1, you get that in every single one. So for the top page of the elementary, they receive the distinction in ELAR, or in RLA, quartile 1 in 3rd grade reading performance, master's grade level, 4th grade, and 5th grade. Puts them in quartile 1. So to look in this box, if y'all look in this box on the first page, to kind of explain this, you have to be 50% in the quartile 1 of these indicators. You don't have to be 100%, but you have to be 50% of those 5. So basically, you have to get 3 out of 5 being quartile 1.
And quartile 1 is top 25.
The top 25% of that group of 40.
And then that is driving our ABCD. It's
Yeah,
only
that-
driving
It's
distinction.
only driving
That's what I'm
distinction.
like.
The group of 40 is completely,
The distinctions that they earn.
yeah,
What does that
that's
earn?
all that group of 40 in the master's grade level goes towards,
So a little
is the
asterisk.
distinction designations.
I
And
guess
so
I'm-
you could take a different year, you could take a different 40, and we may get 0 distinctions, or we may get 6 distinctions. It just depends on the group of 40 that we're paired with. But as you can see, if you look at I know y'all looked at the middle school and high school, but if you look at the elementary list, the districts, the campus may be similar to ours, but the districts are a lot larger. And you can go on it doesn't show it on here, you can go on the TEA website and find out about what the average was. Like the average for special ed population at the campus may be 20.7.
Yeah.
You know, some may be 16, some may be up to 23, but the average is 20.7. Or whatever, that's not our numbers, but that's kind of how that works. So yeah, so back to your point, Ms. News, so across those 23, when the standards change from 23 to 25, that's pretty, with a different group of kids each year, that's still pretty consistent as far as the ratings go.
Sure.
So,
And then the distinctions can change year to year.
so when it says the difference between the raw score, the component score, and the scaled score, what is that?
That's part of their formula that they take. How many you got right? They create some kind of a rubric to get from a raw score to a scaled score.
Which one are you on, Josh? Are you on?
I'm just comparing like for the elementary, and then with this landscape printed that
Okay.
Andy gave us on the 2025, because on the academic growth for Clifton at elementary, we're at a 75 raw score, but our scale score is an 85. I was just, so, I mean, this rating is just based on masters?
The rating is not. The rating is based on,
The distinctions are based on.
the distinctions are masters. The ratings are based on the meets grade level,
Oh, okay,
the star
okay,
score.
okay.
Which is what we always talk about. Approaches,
Yes.
it's great to be at 98% approaches, but if you're at 98% approaches and only 25% meets,
Yeah.
then you're not going to get
Okay,
the ratings that you would want.
that's where I was confused.
So the
'cause I thought-
distinctions are essentially just home runs,
Asterisks.
right? I mean, or asterisks. I mean, I don't know how we want to, like.
They're good. I mean, there's no doubt that they're really
We
good to have.
celebrate them. They're
Yes.
successes.
Yes, they are successes.
I'm not knocking them. They're successes, but I'm trying to figure out where, by looking at these, where we go, right? These seem to be moving targets to me.
Correct.
The
Because you
distinctions
could put us in a
do.
group of, like I said, you could put us in another group of 40 on any of the campuses and those distinctions would change.
Right, so I think that you celebrate them. I don't think chasing them could be difficult, I guess, is maybe what I'm trying to say. also.
But you always want to have it seen
Sure.
as you can.
Sure. No. I think we chase them. I don't know what I'm trying to say here of, I feel like we could get quickly lost in the distinctions. I think those are things that we celebrate. We chase them if we get them extra celebration. But the meat of where we need to go are in these raw scores. Am I tracking correctly? Maybe our ratings of where we are.
And that's why I gave you the information in there about the numbers of each, the percentages and the numbers of the campuses that got each rating.
Yeah, because it seems to be over time, I'm sure it's for every school, but it's academic growth and closing gaps. Help me know what that means in terms to someone that doesn't know what that means. So that we can tell the people, like, what closing the gaps might look like, what academic
So
growth.
closing the gaps is different. Special ed, EBs, it's different, the gap between this student group and this student group.
Great.
Closing those gaps.
Great. And then tell me academic
The
growth.
academic growth is the growth that's shown year over year.
Okay.
We want to fill that cup. So think about it like on Algebra 1, the pass rate in 2024 was a 34% to be approaches. If I could get a kid at approaches high, that meant that their passing rate was a 44%. But that's really going to go off how did they do in 8th grade math at a 62% to get to that
Yeah.
next level.
Okay. That's
That's why we always talk about, like, right now is beginning of year assessment window. Because that was a snapshot of April. April's over with. We now have these kids from summer slide. Where are they at and what is our growth goal for this school year?
yeah.
So it's one piece of historical data to figure out where's our moving target for that one kid every time.
Yeah, the one kid.
From all of this data, are we able to come up with any kind of metrics to figure out how do we move from a low B to a higher B to an A? What do we do to make that happen?
Moving any of those numbers is still all about the test. It's all about meet grade level and getting more kids to that.
Okay.
How big a factor does attendance play into it?
It doesn't play into the ratings.
It's kind of
You
playing
can
into
see
our
on the ratings, it's
distinctions.
only student achievement, school progress, all of those are based on the STAR test. Now, there's a lot more at the high school, graduation rate, things like that, but
How big of your pool of 40, where you land in that, is that a big deciding factor? I mean, I'm assuming we're going to be kind of the similar pool every year, of 40.
size-wise, it could be, yes. It'll be different schools. Sometimes we're in the same with, we may 3 times in a row be in with 2 of those other schools, but we're not always in with the same group of 40.
But that's just for the distinctions, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
nobody pays attention to the distinctions, they see what's our rating,
Correct.
you know, so.
I mean, to the eye, yes.
So, okay, so the 40 only is for the distinctions.
Distinctions
Correct.
only.
Which are nice to have.
So all these doesn't, the 40 schools doesn't
Doesn't apply to that.
It's just it's a measurement.
track now.
It took me too.
Okay, and so.
And when
from-
they talk about, in the numbers in there, the 8,559 districts, campuses that were evaluated, 2,049 of them were an A, well, that could be anywhere from a 90 to a 97. So and just like with a B, 3,036, 30% of the campuses earned a B, well, that could be anywhere from an 80 to an 89. So B is a B, whether you want to be an 89 or, but for ratings purposes, really a B is a B or a C is a C. They don't break it down on their percentages as far as whether you were a high C, a low C, high B, low B, any of that. You're either A, B, C, D, or F. And then there were some that were not rated, but
This being my first year on the board, I have a basic question because I'm learning. You guys have looked at this over the last 3 or 4 years, and we have data to show that. each year we look at this, do we put together goals? Does the board as a group have, do we want to go, what are our goals as a board? And once we establish those, are we satisfied with what we've got? So I'm asking. And if we want to move forward, what are 2 or 3 things that we would do to make that happen?
So we haven't had the ratings in the past couple of years because they've been tied up in litigations.
They have, so it's the first year we've seen them.
So, but
Correct.
they're,
Back to looking at them,
yeah,
yes.
but the campuses do have goals based on meets within the STAR test and increasing that percentages every year.
So in essence, that
should tie
that
into.
should tie into this over a period of time.
Correct. Because that's really over the last, since there was no ratings, that's what the board and the administrators have done the last several years is several times a year, bring those STAR results and look at those and then talk about what the next steps are to improve on those.
And making sure they align with our goals. of doing
Yes.
that. And some of the goals, the law tells us what they have to be.
Sure.
We have a few that, math and reading, if I'm correct, the law says you have to.
For third grade.
All 3 of our goals.
Yeah.
And some of those too, like for the high school, are based on kids that graduated 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not based on the kids that we have now, or that took the test back in 2025, back in the spring.
But making adjustments to programs that we have in place would affect that over a period of time, from year to year.
Correct.
So on the high school chart, if I'm reading this correctly on the landscape version, they give us a scaled score, they give us a rating for several different metrics, but only student achievement and closing the gaps feeds that B. Is that correct?
Everything underneath, yes, so
Because it's saying school progress is 0% of the overall proportion of overall rating. What does that mean?
If the third is, it depends on which one's larger, it gets to count that one instead. So it's
Okay.
a this or that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm remembering that now from our training.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if this is higher, they're gonna count this one. If this one's higher, then they'll count this.
Okay.
And Heather, to your question, the other is that this is the first year we've actually had our 2026 accountability manual already. So we already have the new manual for this coming school year, which we've never had in the last 3 years. So
Right.
that's another thing we're looking at, to help us make those plans.
We have some tools.
Yes, ma'am. The
Yes.
IBC list isn't supposed to change for 5 years, which will help us tremendously in high school. It's changed every 2 years. So we have a 5-year set. Whatever was a IBC allowed course and test for this current school year, or that just ended for 25, is still gonna be good up until 2030.
Remind me what IBC?
The industry-based certification test.
Correct, okay.
So that's a huge one, because that, like I said, that's 2-year-old data anyway, so we'll be able to keep up with that a lot better.
Which goes into the college and career military readiness,
Yes,
that
ma'am.
raw score.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to be misquoted or misheard to not celebrate the distinctions. I think those are fabulous.
Right.
I think it's fantastic where our post-secondary readiness is. I spent a lot of time this weekend diving into all sorts of data. Pretty sure I've looked at almost every school in the state of Texas. And it's fascinating to do. And our post-secondary readiness is very high. If you weren't looking at the 4 schools and where our where we lie, economically disadvantaged, our secondary post readiness is really something to celebrate. But I too am to the point where the I sees the B, the C, the A, and so just looking for ways that we can dive into, make slow, 82s, 83s, and then get us to that A. Because we're close. We're super, super close. And I know our teachers and our students are in the trenches doing the work. And, so just trying to get us to that next step.
So, Ms. Nick, may I say something?
Yeah.
So.
Just
if you
tell us
remember-
what page you're on.
Well, just on the, I just want to remind, because Mr. Conrad asked about goals. So if you remember a couple of years ago, the board set a goal about the post-secondary readiness and the college career readiness.
Yes.
That's one of the goals. So that's why we really put a lot of emphasis on that. That's why we started, every student takes ACT, SAT. And so those were initiatives that we were able to put in. Just some things we're doing, you know, we started the AP Math, Spanish, Art. So those are continued look at programs that we might need to add the AP testing in and so forth. Also, as far as the TSI criteria, we have teachers that are now, Ms. Ridings and Coach McCoy, Mr. McCoy, they're doing the TSI testing and training. We have the College Bridge. So students that haven't met college career readiness, so our seniors that normally get out at lunchtime or whatever, because they have all their credits, if they haven't met college career readiness, they have to stay after lunch now and do College Bridge. And so we've already had 2, like in a week, finish College Bridge because they want to get out of it. It's more motivation for them to meet that standard. So those are some of the things, and those I'm very proud that we did get that distinction because that is something that we set a goal to do and worked on. So Mr. Donald brought up a good point about the attendance rate. Well, if high school would have had a 95.1, I think we'd have been 1% higher, which we've improved our attendance rate a percentage over the last 2 years, but we need to get back up since COVID. We need to get back up to over 95%, 96%. Start looking for that, and we would have gotten, I forgot how many.
More distinctions.
We would have gotten a lot of
Because you get
distinctions
that one.
if we just had attendance rate. But also, if students are here, they're going to perform better in class. So that's why it's important for them to be here. And some students can't help it. We had several that had just chronic illness that couldn't be here, and that hurts our attendance rate. But if they're here, they're going to be more likely to learn and get the material, and that's going to help us academically as well. And so, anyway.
And that kind of answers your question too, Ms. Wellman, as far as what are we doing to move a little higher on the letter or the number.
I am really impressed that every district and every campus is at least a B. We don't have any Cs. That's wonderful. That is really good work. And it shows that everybody's putting in the work and we're using our goals, and it's good direction.
Yeah, we're going in the right direction. Let's just keep going in that direction.
Well, and again, the only way the district gets post-secondary readiness is based on what the campuses do.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like I said, we do want to celebrate those. We just don't want to get lost in the trenches on those.
right, but I think, and that's why I wanted y'all to look at those numbers that I put in there as far as the number of campuses, high school, middle school, and elementary, and districts that earned each one of those letters.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Andy,
Yes.
could you explain closing the gap?
Can I or did I?
Could you?
Yes, so it's the difference between the student groups. We're on economically disadvantaged white students and Hispanic students. So when you talk about closing the gaps, it's how much, and she may be able to explain it better than I can when she said it a while ago, but go ahead if you want to try to explain it a little
Well,
better.
so what it does is for each of our demographic groups, so our economically disadvantaged is always a demographic group, and then it looks at your race and your ethnicity populations as well. So what that's doing is how as a whole are all 700 of our testers who are identified in those subgroups performing and closing the gap. So what is their growth rate every year? Are they, the parent report card says expected. Did they expect, did they accelerate, that kind of growth? So it's looking for each demographic group, how many of those level, that's a full point. How many 1 points did we get because they moved up a full jump? How many half points did we get because they moved up just that tiny step? So each demographic group kind of looks that way, but then it looks at, our percentage wise, it's gonna look at what our largest populations are, what are our largest demographic groups. Our EV population is not as large, it's not as heavy, our sped population is not as large, it's not as heavy. Our eco-disc is about, 60-something%. So it's really gonna look at that, at those group of kids. And then same thing for our white and our Hispanic ethnicities, they're gonna look at how those students are performing together every test they take. So as a package deal.
So they want all the demographics to move east?
Yes,
Correct.
they watch that for action plans and things like that, for any of your demographic groups. So they're
We don't want
watching that to
anybody
make
left
sure you're,
behind, right?
yes,
Thank you.
Good job.
you're welcome.
Yeah, we appreciate that. It's a lot of information for us that are not, do this on the daily. But try to stay up to speed with you all. It's a lot, and then they change it, so that's always fun.
And they've had the opportunity to share these last week when they came out with their staff members as well.
And celebrate them. I mean, and we want them all to know, keep doing what they're doing, and celebrating those kids because they did the work, and we're thankful and proud of them, all of them. So great job. Thank you for sharing this with us. Do we have any more to discuss or better understand off of those? If not, we'll move to item number 14, which is the discussion on the the 25-26 budget. Lisa is not ready to look at the 26 budget.
Okay, I attached the Excel sheets as well as I gave you a packet. Like I said, I'm not gonna go over the entire packet, just the main page there. I did some updating on some numbers, and then to the right in that column, I noted what changed since the workshop.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So our total revenue that is expected is $14,860,000. It decreased slightly, only because our enrollment numbers came in since we had our workshop. Our enrollment today is 942 students.
How much?
As 942.
42.
As compared to 994 at the end of last year. So our average daily attendance funding for last year was 928, which was 93% of our enrollment. I had slightly reduced it to 925 at the workshop. I reduced it even more to 915. That's roughly 97% of average daily attendance, which is still kind of high. As of today, it was 96.9 in attendance, so we're starting the year off good. So anyway, that reduced our estimated revenue by about $18,000.
No, I'm sorry, say that again. I missed
It reduced our revenue by about $18,000.
And that's moving it from 925 to 915, right?
Yes,
And that's at a 97%.
yes, average daily attendance, yes.
So attendance rate not only affects how kids perform in school, but it also affects our state funding.
Yes,
Correct.
it affects
wanna make
every
that clear.
single dollar.
Yeah.
So if I can state to parents, please have your attendance rate high, bring your kids to school. So the only thing that changed within our non-payroll expenditures, there was a slight decrease within instruction. I had kind of put some in reserve for extra. There's just a little bit less of extra now. On our health services, there was something wrong with my formula. The actual amount is $13,600 that is budgeted. We increased security and monitoring. It's now $123,000. We put a little bit more aside for some camera upgrades. And then facilities and major improvements, I added a little bit to AC repair because first week of school, we already have AC issues. So overall, though, within non-payroll expenditures, it decreased slightly by about $4,900 as compared to the workshop numbers. We still have the two projects planned that were not finished this year that will move to next year for $111,000. Within wages, I did some moving around in our instructional salaries and teachers. That overall increased by $128,000 for overall amount of $6,199,000. The reason for that is we did have one teacher listed in the grant We do not have enough grant allotment to pay for that teacher, so they moved to the general fund. And then we did some adjusting on the teacher scale as compared to a local district. We wanted to at least meet what they were assumed to be paying. That is on your group of papers. That is the last page. I attached it on board book, but I also made a manual copy of the last page within your packet. The one in yellow, the column in yellow is what I had proposed. The one in green is the increase and then compared to a local district. So that overall change increased instructional salaries by $128,000. The remaining items as far as function 36, 12, 21, 23, all of those slightly increased. You'll see over in the right-hand column by how much. The reason for those increases is looking back at all the people that are not teachers. They were put on a separate scale, but still you have to compare them to the daily rate of the teacher with the teacher retention allotment that's been implemented, the $8,000 raise and so forth. So what I proposed was a 6% general pay increase, and I increased it to a 6.5% general pay increase. So that slightly increased all of the function below that by just a minimal amount. If you'll come on down to the fall and retention and new hire stipend, this last year we had set an amount at $1,800. In order to increase all of the people above and their permanent salary, I had to slightly decrease the planned amount for that. So instead of $1,800, I reduced it to $1,700, which was just a small decrease of $9,500 for the year. Those two, what many districts do is they put these kind of stipends in there and they reevaluate it come September, October, about November to see where their ADA is. If it's not 97%, then we might have to adjust the retention allotment at the end of the year. If it's above that, then we can go back to the 1,800 and so forth. So it's kind of a floating number that we can adjust. It's not part of their permanent salary, it's an additional amount. Then right below that, I have subs and on-demand payroll is $197,000. I decreased that by about $28,000. I had set aside, usually what happens after school starts up and we have more special education students or certain students in a grade level, we usually have someone come ahead and say, I need a new para, or, somebody to accommodate. I had, don't mean to look at you, but I had a spot for a para possibly to come in or need to be hired after the month or two in school. I removed that, so there is no more item in there, and that's the decrease for the $28,000. So overall, within payroll, total compensation, at the workshop, I proposed $9,500,000. It increased to $9,611,000, so an increase of about $110,000 with those changes. Down on the benefits, it was $2,077,000 at the workshop. With the increase in payroll, it increased our benefits as a percentage, so the total benefits is estimated to be $2.1 million. Total payroll overall is $11,700,000. Total expenditures $14,600,000. The transfer to food service has remained the same at approximately $200,000. So at the workshop, I had a surplus of $150,000, and now I am even.
On line under wages 11, salaries teachers, the
Yes.
increase in $128,500, that's not solely based on the scale. That is because that
No.
teacher that is no longer under the grant, correct?
It's a combination. It's the grant, it's the scale, and the 6.5% GPI. Some of those people also fall within instruction. They're not teachers, but they fall on that level, and so it's a combination of those.
Okay.
Any questions?
Do we have any questions? Do we have any comments?
Keep your kids healthy.
Yes, please.
Wash hands.
No vacations during school.
then
Does the attendance usually kind of climb up through the year? It seems like the last couple of years.
Sometimes. Sometimes really good, and then right around fourth, 6 weeks or whatever, it kind of drops down.
I just said attendance, new students coming in the district.
Yes, we'll add some throughout the year.
It usually seems like our,
Well, remember, we graduated mid-80s,
Yeah.
and we've only got 22 pre-Kers coming in, so that's a difference in 60. We've had a few move out, and we've had several new students come in. It's kind of evened that out. But
Thank you.
is there any further thought on the teacher pay scale as far as that move to be ahead of other districts?
that's what's in there, what you had asked about. That's included in there.
districts instead of compared to the districts.
I mean, but are there any,
What she's asking is, are there any discussions about it? Like, does anyone have any feedback that it doesn't need to be done? Do we have
Oh.
feedback that
Are we comfortable with
are we
those
comfortable
numbers?
with the numbers? Yeah. Is that what I'm hearing you say, Ms. Wellman? Are
We
we
were.
comfortable with the numbers from the budget workshop to the increase of the salaries to today's budget? Is everyone comfortable with those numbers? Because they did shift.
and this is only estimated because these school districts have not posted their
That's right.
salary.
Correct.
That's right. I mean, we kind of got into this, if I remember right, last year of just, it's a hard spot because the stipends of, those can be taken away, you know, and so I see those as a blessing box a little bit, where the salary goes with them, for TRS, and, it carries on, so, I'm comfortable with these numbers, but, you know, I'm just me. So we need to know, and we need the rest of you to tell us that, you know, we're comfortable moving forward with these numbers, or if we're not, and it's okay to not be comfortable as well. But we gotta make sure we lead Ms. Pressure in the right direction. That
Well,
we
remember-
feel comfortable.
Remember last year, we were talking about a smaller percentage because we didn't know what the state was gonna
Right,
do.
right.
So now we're doing a larger percentage and the stipend.
That's right.
Trying to make up some ground for the
Correct.
previous years.
Yeah. But if there are no other discussions and everyone's comfortable with it, we
Because
will,
last year we did what, 1%? Or no, we were discussing 1%, right?
I think we did both one, we did
1% plus
1%.
the stipend.
plus the
Plus
stipend.
stipend.
Because at that time, we talked about the stipend doesn't go into your TRS, but we didn't know what the state was gonna do.
Yeah,
So we accommodated and did a little bit of both.
yeah.
And then this year,
It's-
we're still keeping, we're decreasing the stipend minimal and then giving them a fair increase,
6.5, right?
6.5. To keep us, to play catch up with where we didn't know the state was gonna help us or not help us.
And we were fortunate last year to be able to give that stipend at spring break as well,
That's right,
from our solar farm
Yes, we
money.
did give an extra one.
that's right,
So we did the 1,800 plus that amount
that's right.
at spring break.
Yeah. Overall, I'm very comfortable. Our teachers, they're the backbone of what we're trying to do. I'm good with it.
If we're good, Ms. Pressure, we'll carry on. And thank you for all you do. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
We really do.
She's put a lot of work in it over the last couple
I
of
know,
weeks.
I know you have.
More than, more than the last couple
And
of weeks.
thank you, because, thank you. I do not want to be doing the numbers. And you don't want me to do the numbers, let's be honest. All right, we're off to reports. Superintendent,
Nothing,
Assistant Superintendent,
Nothing to add.
Business Manager, Principals?
I want to say, so the high school we have netted +1 with incoming to outgoing students. So we've had 14 withdrawn and had 15 that's enrolled. So we're +1 at the high school.
Nice
Good.
work.
So,
Doing your part.
Ms. Cliff told me that today.
So 9:43.
Just make them wash their hands. Athletic Director, Technology Director.
Nothing to add.
ESL Director. BAM Director. Special Programs. Ag Science. Maintenance and Transportation. No. At this time, we will go into executive session at 7:30, or take a quick break. 4, we will come out of executive session. Mr. Ball, do you have any business for us?
No, ma'am.
There is no business at this time, so do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Mr. Ritzman. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Conrad. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 8:06.
Y'all are welcome to keep